If you're anything like me, then you would have been playing video games for a pretty long time. I myself have been playing for probably 10 years now, probably more than that actually. And I would also consider myself a fairly creative person, especially because I've been playing Minecraft for about 11 years now, which is an overwhelming majority of my life. So recently, more like I'd say about a year or two ago, I've looked into creating my own games. I wanted to make my own games. There's, of course, Scratch. I'm sure many of you have heard of that. That's a very basic form of video game making. I've made a couple little small recreations on there, and I've kind of looked into other things, and I wanted to use Unity, maybe even Unreal Engine. But anyways, today I'm of course showing you a full in-depth concept for my FPS game that I would like to make. I already have some basic Blender animations that I've cooked up in an old version of Blender because none of my computers at my house are very up-to-date whatsoever, and I can't get anything like Unreal Engine or Unity or a new version of Blender. So I can't actually make this game yet, but I wanted to show off my full game concept so that I could just get it out into the world with some basic little animations to show off to people what the idea is. And you've probably read the title. I don't know if I will, but I'll probably put it in the title. It's Object Shooter. This is a work in progress name. This is likely not the final game name. I will probably want to change it at some point. It's a pretty basic. The basic concept is an FPS game, first-person shooter. So Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege, which I've put as the gameplay right now. But all of the guns are, as the name probably suggests, by object. Now, a big thing with this was coming up with the objects that will become weapons. I've already made a whole weapon class system that I want to have. A lot of the basic things that come with the FPS game genre. So we got, the assault rifles, the SMGs, the shotguns, the snipers, the marksman rifles, pistols, melee weapons, so like knives and stuff, launchers, so RPGs, for example, and of course I do want to actually add things like the tactical and lethal system in COD, the grenade and the tactical, which can be a range of things, like a gas grenade or a decoy or whatever, that kind of system for grenades and stuff. I also want this game to be really community driven, so if the community is suggesting an object, obviously I'd like to take it into consideration. Now, once I've laid out the full concept, I'll be showing off some of my objects. I've made them in a 3D software and, obviously created them myself. Of course, I have used some assets from 3D websites and whatnot, so I hope to get better at making 3D objects so I don't have to take assets or anything from a free website or something. However, this is obviously just temporary, probably stand-ins and whatnot, so right now, that's what we got. Now, one thing that you might be wondering is game modes, of course. So I was hoping for a casual, a competitive, and training. I might add other things, but those are the basic three that I want. So the casual and comp would have similar game modes. There'd be stuff like Team Deathmatch, Domination, Search and Destroy, and other things of the sorts that you might see in things like Call of Duty or Rainbow Six Siege or Overwatch even. Now the training, I'd like to have offline versus AI. A big thing that I have a problem with when it comes to FPS games, most FPS games, is there's no offline modes. So if someone lags out for whatever reason, their internet's cut out or whatever, they can't play the game at all. That's a huge problem for people like me, whose internet kind of becomes dog shit sometimes on console and whatnot. So, I'd like to have an offline mode where you don't have to log in or anything. You know, something like the older Call of Duty games. I found that the older Call of Duty games do that more often than the newer ones, which sucks, but it's where, you know, you go against AI and you can have whatever weapons you want and whatnot, so you're all unlocked. And I think that would be fun for a training thing. And obviously, I would like a practice range of some kind. That's also a really useful thing to have. It would also definitely be nice to have variations in team size. I don't want to have it just one thing, like 4v4 or something. I want to have it, you know, some things have like 6v6, 10v10, 5v5, 3v3, depending on, you know, the game mode and the level, whether it's casual or comp. And I'd also would like to say that the characters themselves, I might make them just skins like Fortnite or Call of Duty, where it's just different like operators basically, but they don't have special abilities. If we really want, we could have special abilities or special game modes that use characters that aren't skins, or characters that are skins but they get specific types of abilities for only that game mode. But I want them to be like action figures. We could even have those like green army men. You've probably seen them, you know, like Toy Story basically. I'd like to have it stuff like that, where it's action figures and those green army guys. I'd also like a battle pass perhaps, and a shop. We'll get into both of those. So first, I'll actually start off with the battle pass. Now, my initial thought is 50 tiers, but based on community, we could go, I'd say, up to 100 plus bonus rewards. I'm not sure if I want a ton of bonus rewards, but something I would definitely like is legacy passes. So, my system here is not a complete legacy pass. So, let's say we have 50 in the pass. There'll be like a certain amount of items that are exclusive to that season. So if, let's say you're playing season 1, and let's say there's 50 tiers of rewards. Let's say there's 10 exclusive to that season. Next season, if you don't want that, if you missed out on the season 1 pass, you'll be missing out on those exclusive items, but you'll still get the rest of the rewards that were not exclusive in the Legacy Pass. So I'd still like a Legacy Pass system, but I feel like having some exclusive so that it's not like you can just come in and take a Battle Pass item from anywhere. And I also don't want to release anything into this shop that's on a Battle Pass, especially an exclusive one. The way to buy these, the currency, this is also tying in with the shop. The shop is going to be entirely just using this currency. There's going to be a bot currency. So, for example, V-Bucks or Apex coins. And then there's going to be an earned currency. So, like when Fall Guys had those kudos where you could actually earn them, I want stuff like that. I want to have an earned currency system so that you're not completely lost when it comes to buying things. If you don't want to buy anything, if you don't want to actually purchase something in-game, that's perfectly fine, and I think that's completely reasonable. So, why not have an earned currency? But the Battle Pass system with this is the current Battle Pass can only be bought with the bot currency, but then the Legacy can be bought with either. So if you want to save up your earned currency and buy the Battle Pass, or like the Legacy Pass, then you could do that. One thing I would definitely like is free items. That's something I would definitely like to input. You know, the occasional login item or event item. Definitely want some events to be fairly active. I also want this game to have a lot of customization. So the reticle, similar to Overwatch most likely, where maybe certain weapons you can change the reticle when you're not like zoomed in or anything. Change the color, the size, all that kind of stuff. I think would be pretty nice, because I think customization in games is a great thing to have. Also, settings will have, a myriad of different customizations. Controls can be customized. I want voice chat to be customized. I'm someone that doesn't really like voice chat that much, so, having voice chat to be completely turned off is something I'd definitely like to be an option. So that's another thing that I would like to definitely have. Also, profile pictures, similar to other games like Call of Duty and Overwatch, how you can have different profile pictures, name cards, maybe even titles, similar to Overwatch, all these different types of customization stuff to make your profile stand out, maybe. If possible, I'd like to be able to have some sort of statistics tab somewhere, like either in your profile or in the settings or something. I think that's a fun thing to see, just how many hours you have, maybe different statistics on like bullet shot or kills, or like lifetime kills and assists and whatnot, like just to see what it is. Now, the last thing I want to add on to here before we get into the actual little Blender animations that I've made for these guns, some of these guns, is a storyline or like any sort of lore. I think something that would be cool is some sort of campaign. As you can see, I'm playing Call of Duty Zombies right now. Zombies could be nice if we have a campaign as well. I'm not entirely sure on the lore right now. I just kind of have a basic thing. I'm not going to spoil anything at all, just in case I do happen to create some sort of campaign in the future. Now, another thing I thought would be really cool that I just thought of, or remembered I should say, is on certain maps in certain locations with a certain weapon, you can get little Easter eggs. So, for example, I'm just going to give a very simple example. I have a weapon that's basically a TV remote shotgun that I have made a animation for. But what I want is there to be maps, or a map or multiple maps that have a TV, and if you use like the interact button right in front of it with that weapon, it like turns on the TV or something, or changes the channel if it's already on. I think that would be really cool to have something like that in different maps and give little Easter eggs. Now that we have all of that out of the way, all of that big stuff, we can finally get into these little previews of the animations. These first ones are just reloads. So the first one is an NES controller as an AK-47 basically. We got a DS as a pistol. We got a leaf blower as an LMG, which I actually really like the reload animation on that. Now we get into some shooting. So here we have the trombone bazooka shooting. Here we have a hockey stick sniper shooting. We got our remote control shotgun shooting here and reloading. Really love that animation. This one is toilet paper grenade. I also actually really like this one. It's a bit of a funny concept. So there you go. Those are some quick little animations that I cooked up in a week or two. I actually learned how to use Blender. Like, I literally have never used Blender before this point. I think I'm pretty proud of myself for quickly learning how to actually make animations in Blender. I'm gonna move on to some of these UI things. So first up, we got the lobby screen. This I cooked up in a little pixel art app. So this just shows off what it could look like. You could invite people to your party and have a few people in your party and change your game mode. This is inspired by a few different games that I play. You can probably tell the inspiration from a few different games for sure. Now we got a little bit of the gameplay. You can see the mode there with the score. You can see profile pictures of your teammates, their armor level, your armor level, your ammo, grenade, your health. I was hoping for a health recharge. That's something I think would be cool. It shows your FPS, there's a map, there's your kills, a lot of different things in there. You know, just a little UI that I actually really like. And this here is the working logo. This is what I have for now. I'll definitely be changing it once we get into the actual development of the game, once we have some actual demos and whatnot. Also, once we have the final name chosen, because I'm not confident with Object Shooter. That just doesn't sound that great, you know, as a name. I feel like it should have something special to go with it. Now, finally here is, I'm just going to show off this. This is my rambling that I just scribbled down on a piece of paper in, like, February, I think. We were literally in I think I had, like, a spare class, basically, in the cafeteria, and I just wrote down my thoughts, and, that's basically where this whole thing comes from. It's just that. Then I started making some of the actual 3D models into, I think it was called Vectory 3D or something. It was pretty fun to learn how to make 3D models and stuff, and find some assets to help me along with making some of these assets. But then it took me a while to actually get Blender going. It took me until after school was over, so I'm talking July, because I'm here in Canada, so we end in June instead of May, like in the US, I believe. But anyways, I think that's all I really need to show off today, or I think that's all I have to show off today. I hope you guys are interested in the concept itself. Let me know in the comments, some suggestions for more objects to add to the eventual game, and also if you want to see me upload some more updates surrounding the game once I get further along in the process. And if you enjoyed this video and this concept, like and subscribe. Check out my other videos on my channel. They are gaming surrounded, so it's somewhat related to this whole thing. And I think that's all. So I'll see you guys in the next video.